already dressed and gone.
That's what I like.
Welcome back, everyone. Today we're taking a journey through time to revisit the beloved cast of Little House on the Prairie, from their childhood beginnings to their rise to fame and all the highs and lows that followed. Little House on the Prairie, which first aired in 1974, captured the hearts of millions with its heartwarming stories and unforgettable characters. Ever wonder what became of the stars once the show wrapped up? In this video, we'll dive into the incredible lives of these actors, exploring their success, awards, and everything they've achieved since their days in Walnut Grove. From personal battles and scandals to love stories and upcoming projects in 2024, we'll give you the full scoop on the cast's fascinating journeys, then and now. So, sit back and join us as we explore where life has taken the Little House stars over 50 years after the show's debut. Melissa Gilbert, Laura Ingalls. Kicking things off, we've got none other than Melissa Gilbert, aka Laura Ingalls, the heart and soul of the show. Melissa was born into the world of entertainment, although her story began with a twist. She was adopted just one day after her birth by actors Paul Gilbert and Barbara Crane. The entertainment bug was in her blood from the very start. Her parents later adopted her brother Jonathan Gilbert, who, fun fact, played Willie Olson on Little House on the Prairie. Talk about keeping it in the family. Melissa's sister is none other than Sarah Gilbert, known for her role on Roseanne and as a co-host on The Talk. Melissa's acting journey started early, and at just 10 years old, she scored the role of Laura Ingalls. In fact, she actually made her TV debut at just 2 years old, when she appeared in baby clothes commercials. But after that early start, she took a bit of a break and didn't return to acting until she was 7. For the next 2 years, Melissa was in national commercials for some pretty big brands. Then, in 1973, at the age of 9, she was cast as Laura Ingalls Wilder on Little House on the Prairie. And the rest is TV history. She ended up playing the role for a full 10 years, making Laura Ingalls one of the most beloved characters on American television. Her natural charm and spunk instantly connected with audiences. She portrayed the adventurous, strong-willed Laura for 9 seasons, and honestly, no one could have played Half Pint better. The chemistry between her and Michael Landon, who played her on-screen father, Charles Ingalls, was unforgettable. One of the most poignant moments in Little House on the Prairie was when Laura lost her baby brother, a plotline that required Melissa to tap into some deep emotions. You could just feel the heartbreak in Melissa Gilbert's performance, and there's a reason why it hit so hard. Around the same time, in real life, Melissa was going through the devastating loss of her adoptive father, Paul Gilbert, who passed away when she was just 11. So when we see Laura grieving on screen, Melissa was drawing from her own real-life pain. She's even mentioned that those raw emotions made her performance more authentic. It wasn't just acting, it was her processing real grief right there on camera, which is one of the reasons her portrayal of Laura Ingalls felt so incredibly real to us. After Little House, Gilbert wanted to have more diverse roles. She jumped into TV movies like Choices of the Heart, Family Secrets, and The Penalty Phase, showing off her range in totally different roles. And get this, she wasn't stopping there. She made appearances in Seventh Heaven, Sweet Justice, Babylon 5, and Touched by an Angel. Melissa was all over the place, showing us that she was a serious actress with a world of talent. And in 2012, she danced her heart out on Dancing with the Stars. Yeah, she proved she could move just as gracefully as she could act. Talk about a triple threat. Now, let me just tell you, Melissa Gilbert wasn't just a Hollywood star, she was a Hollywood boss. From 2001 to 2005, she served as the president of the Screen Actors Guild. This woman wasn't just acting, she was fighting for fair wages and better working conditions for actors all over the industry. She was in there, behind the scenes, making sure her fellow Melissa's journey wasn't all smooth sailing though. She's opened up about her struggles with alcohol and substance abuse, but she's been open about her recovery as well. Actors were taken care of. That is the definition of being a total boss in Hollywood. Melissa Gilbert has been through it all, especially when it comes to the pressures of Hollywood. Over the years, she was told to do so many things to fit a certain mold. From being told to lose weight, to cover her freckles, and even to pad her bra, the world kept telling her
good enough and I wasn't curvy enough, and I think that really messed with my head, and it wasn't, it was about a year
how she should look. She went as far as getting breast implants, having her nose reshaped, and even getting Botox and fillers. At one point, she said, "It just kept creeping up. You start doing them, and then you need a little more, and then a little more." It's a cycle that many women in Hollywood face, and it takes its toll. But eventually, Melissa had an epiphany. She didn't want her accomplishments or her identity to be defined by her physical appearance anymore. Melissa Gilbert recently opened up about regretting her decision to get cosmetic surgery because it made her face feel stiff and less expressive. She didn't want to spend hours every day at the gym trying to lose weight or coloring her hair just to fit into an image that didn't feel like her. She didn't want to be someone she didn't recognize anymore. We've already talked about how she dealt with the pressures of Hollywood and tried to find herself again. But there was something she was secretly battling behind the scenes of Little House on the Prairie that she didn't fully understand at the time. In a People interview, Melissa opened up about struggling with misophonia, a condition where certain sounds, like chewing, gum popping, or even nails tapping on the table, could trigger an intense emotional reaction. She would feel like she just needed to run away. Her face would turn beet red, and tears would well up in her eyes. She felt horrible and guilty about it because she loved the people around her, but these sounds made her feel so miserable. She called it a really dark and difficult part of her childhood. Imagine dealing with that while trying to balance fame and work at such a young age. It wasn't easy. Eventually, Melissa was diagnosed with misophonia, which finally helped her make sense of what she was experiencing. It's one more piece of her story that shows just how much strength and resilience she's had to find over the years. On the relationship front, her romantic life had some high-profile moments. In the 1980s, she had a very public relationship with Rob Lowe, which ended with a broken engagement.
And breakup greatly affected Melissa and made her turn to alcohol as a crutch.
She eventually married Bruce Boxleitner, but after their divorce, she found happiness with actor Timothy Busfield, whom she married in 2013. It's clear that she's navigated her fair share of personal challenges, but she's always emerged stronger and more determined. Now, looking ahead to 2024, Melissa is living her best, most down-to-earth life. She recently moved into a rustic cabin in upstate New York with her husband, where she's embracing a more peaceful, off-the-grid lifestyle. But don't think she's slowed down. Melissa has upcoming projects in the works, including another book that digs deeper into her personal journey. She's also committed to using her platform for activism, particularly focusing on improving working conditions for actors and promoting mental health awareness. Despite moving away from the Hollywood spotlight, she's still making waves in her own way. Now, fast forward to 2024. Melissa and Timothy have settled into a cozy life in a rustic cabin in upstate New York, embracing a more peaceful, simple lifestyle. But don't think she's just relaxing. Melissa is still working on projects. She has another book in the works and continues to use her platform for activism, focusing on the causes she's passionate about. That's Melissa Gilbert for you, from her childhood TV debut, to being America's favorite prairie girl, to becoming a force for change in both Hollywood and beyond. Stay tuned, because we've got more updates on the rest of the Little House cast coming up next. Michael Landon, Charles Ingalls. Now let's move on to the man who played the strong and kind-hearted patriarch of the Ingalls family, Michael Landon, who portrayed Charles Ingalls. Michael Landon was the backbone of Little House on the Prairie, both on-screen and behind the scenes. He played the father figure, Charles Ingalls, a role that won the hearts of millions with his gentle wisdom and dedication to family. But who was Michael Landon before he became the iconic Charles? Born Eugene Maurice Orowitz on October 31, 1936, grew up in southern New Jersey to a Jewish father and a Catholic mother. His childhood was far from easy. "We were one of two Jewish families in a working-class town that had its share of anti-Semites," Michael recalled, and this made him a frequent target for bullies. However, he discovered early on that humor was his way of coping and connecting. To gain acceptance, Michael became the class clown, using humor as a defense mechanism. His natural charisma helped him rise above the bullying, and he quickly became popular at school. But while things improved socially, his home life was a different story. Michael's parents had a turbulent relationship. They often fought, and his mother, Peggy, struggled with severe depression. In a heartbreaking revelation, Michael shared that he would sometimes walk into the kitchen and find his mother attempting suicide. One particularly painful memory involved Peggy humiliating him as a child by hanging his soiled bedsheets out the window in an effort to cure his bedwetting. This emotional trauma stayed with Michael, and he later channeled it into the 1976 TV movie, The Loneliest Runner, which he wrote and directed. Despite these hardships, Michael turned his difficult childhood into motivation, pushing himself to succeed in Hollywood and to create the loving family he never had growing up. Michael Landon's first marriage was to Dodie Levy-Fraser in 1956. He embraced the role of father to her son Mark, and the couple later adopted a second son, Josh, in 1960. Michael was always passionate about being a father, famously saying in 1962, "I hate it when someone calls them adopted. They're my sons, and I'm their father until they die. Or I die." Michael's relationship with Dodie began to unravel. Then Michael found love again with actress Lynn No, whom he met on the set of Bonanza. The two were married in 1963, and Michael adopted her daughter, Cheryl. Together, they had 4 more children: Leslie, Michael Jr., Shauna, and Christopher. Michael's dedication to his children was unwavering. He would take time off from his career to support his kids, whether that meant sitting by Cheryl's bedside after a serious car accident or helping her through a tough 2-year battle with addiction. Michael's marriage to Lynn lasted 19 years, but as he had done before, Michael followed his heart when he fell in love with Cindy Clarico, a makeup artist on Little House on the Prairie, and together they had 2 children, Jennifer and Sean. Though Michael Landon captivated audiences as the kind-hearted Charles Ingalls, his off-screen persona was far from the idealized father figure he portrayed. According to some of his former co-stars, Landon's behavior behind the scenes was controversial, especially in terms of his language and treatment of others. Allison Arngrim, who played the infamous Nellie Oleson on the show, didn't shy away from describing Michael Landon as mad, bad, and dangerous to know. She told DailyMail.com that his real-life personality was a stark contrast to the wholesome image fans had of him. Arngrim remembered Landon as a heavy smoker and drinker who often made inappropriate jokes, something she found amusing as a teenager, but admitted he was not everyone's cup of tea. She wasn't the only cast member to speak out about his off-screen behavior. Karen Grassel, who played Ma Caroline Ingalls, revealed in her memoir that Landon made crude jokes about her body and often used foul language on set.
And Mike started telling these filthy.
These allegations offer a glimpse into the power dynamics at play during the height of the show's popularity. While many fans revered Michael Landon for his role on Little House, these revelations from his co-stars highlight the complexity of his character. Arngrim acknowledged that, as a teenager, she found his behavior entertaining. But Grassel's memoir portrays a more troubling reality. According to her, Landon's jokes and crass comments weren't just a display of humor, but indicative of an underlying disregard for professional boundaries, particularly toward women.
Grassley's new book, Bright Lights, Prairie Dust, paints the beloved late actor as sexist and a bully on the set.
As if the tension surrounding Michael Landon's off-screen behavior wasn't enough, Karen Grassel continued to reveal even more troubling details about their relationship during the filming of Little House on the Prairie. Karen recalled that Michael used to boast about his libido on set, but it was more than just talk. She soon discovered the reason for his bravado. Michael was having an affair with 18-year-old actress Cindy Clarico, who was 20 years his junior. This relationship sent shockwaves through the cast, many of whom were close to Michael's wife, Lynn. When Lynn discovered the affair, the situation escalated. In an emotional outburst, she followed Michael and Cindy to their secret love nest and threw a bottle of vodka at Michael's head. The drama on set mirrored the turmoil in his personal life, and Michael's public image was forever tainted. Michael eventually married Cindy, but the affair and its fallout left a permanent mark on his reputation. He had been beloved as the wholesome family man, but his personal life, now in the public eye, exposed the cracks in that carefully cultivated image. Despite the personal controversies, Landon remained a major figure in Hollywood, known for his charm, work ethic, and talent as an actor, producer, and director. After Little House on the Prairie ended in 1983, Michael Landon remained committed to bringing family-oriented programming to television. His next major project would once again solidify his place as a TV icon. Just a year after Little House ended, Landon created and starred in Highway to Heaven, 1984-1989. the series centered on Landon's character, Jonathan Smith, an angel sent to Earth to help people in need. Highway to Heaven was another hit for Landon. For 5 seasons, the show maintained strong ratings and a loyal fan base. And Landon's reputation as a TV legend continued to grow. He was not only the star, but also the writer, producer, and director for much of the series, giving him total creative control. After Highway to Heaven ended in 1989, Landon began developing new projects. He was determined to continue his career as a television creator, but in 1991, everything changed. Michael was preparing to bring a new inspirational TV series, Us, to TV when he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer and given 3 months to live in 1991. He went public with the news and appeared on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson to discuss his condition, approaching his diagnosis with his characteristic optimism. On July 1, 1991, Michael Landon passed away at the age of 54. His death was a tremendous loss, not only for his family, but for the millions of fans who had grown up watching him bring life to beloved TV characters. The outpouring of grief was immense, with tributes pouring in from all over the world. Landon's influence on television, his warmth, his storytelling, his embodiment of family values, left an indelible mark on the industry. Karen Grassel, Caroline Ingalls. Karen Grassel's portrayal of Caroline Ingalls made her a household name during the 1970s. But what many people don't know is that Grassel's journey to becoming one of TV's most beloved mothers wasn't an easy one. Karen Grassel was born on February 25, 1942, in Berkeley, California. She grew up in a family that valued education and creativity, with a father who worked as a real estate broker and a mother who was a schoolteacher. In her memoir, Bright Lights, Prairie Dust, Karen shared that she based much of Caroline's unflappable strength and nurturing nature on her own mother, who had endured a difficult life, especially during the Great Depression. Born to a tough, determined schoolteacher, Karen was raised in a family marked by both resilience and hardship. Her father, Gene Grassel, was a real estate broker but also struggled with alcoholism, which made life at home unpredictable and sometimes chaotic. Karen's father was known for his mercurial temperament, and this instability often cast a shadow over her childhood. However, it was her mother, Frey, who provided the stability and strength that young Karen needed. Frey had her own battles, having lived through the hardships of the Great Depression, but she managed to face them with grace. Karen's love for the arts led her to the University of California, Berkeley, where she studied English and drama. She then went on to train at the prestigious London Academy of Music and Dramatic Art. It was there in the UK that she honed her acting skills and prepared herself for a career in theater. Upon returning to the US, Grassel became a rising star in the world of theater, working on and off Broadway, appearing in plays such as The Gingham Dog and Butterflies Are Free. Despite her growing success in the theater world, Karen struggled to make a breakthrough in television. That all changed in 1974 when she auditioned for Little House on the Prairie. Karen landed the role of Caroline Ingalls after a successful audition with Michael Landon. She was hired for her natural warmth and down-to-earth presence, which perfectly suited the character of Ma Ingalls, the loving yet resilient mother who kept the Ingalls family grounded through hardship. While Grassel was beloved as Ma on screen, things were not always smooth behind the scenes. Like many actors of that era, Karen faced challenges with the pressures of fame, personal struggles, and even conflicts with her co-stars. Karen's relationship with Michael was also strained over professional matters. Despite being one of the main stars of the show, she was denied a pay raise. Michael's response to her request for higher wages was blunt. He felt that her earnings should be comparable to the child actors on the show. For Karen, this was an insult. Karen Grassel also has been open about her struggles with alcoholism during the years she worked on Little House. The pressures of the job, coupled with the stress of personal issues, led her to rely on alcohol. However, she eventually sought help, got sober, and has been in recovery ever since. Despite these challenges, Karen Grassel's career didn't slow down. After Little House ended in 1983, she returned to her first love, the stage, performing in regional theater across the country. She continued to work in TV and film as well, with guest appearances in shows like Murder, She Wrote, and roles in movies like Wyatt Earp.
Yes.
Hello, Mrs. Sutherland. I don't expect you'll remember me.
I know perfect.
Later on, the 82 actress, who has been married twice and is currently unmarried, released her memoir, Bright Lights, Prairie Dust, Reflections on Life, Loss, and Love from Little House's Ma. Her book offers an honest, raw, and deeply personal account of her journey, both on and off the set of Little House on the Prairie. Grassel reveals the complexities of her life that were often hidden behind the image of the wholesome, loving Ma Ingalls. Grassel's decision to write her memoir wasn't about sugarcoating her experiences or creating a picture-perfect narrative. She wanted to share the full picture of her life, the highs and the lows. As she puts it, "There was no point for me to write the book if I wasn't going to tell my story. And my story is complicated with mental illness, alcoholism, and show business, which is a very tough profession." Though Little House brought Grassel fame and admiration from fans around the world, it also brought pressures that weighed heavily on her. In an industry that often overlooks the personal struggles of its stars, Grassel's battle with addiction and the emotional toll of maintaining a public image went largely unnoticed by the audience at the time. It's wild to think that Little House wasn't all sunshine and rainbows behind the scenes. How do you think the pressure of fame affected Karen's portrayal of Ma? Let me know what you think. Melissa Sue Anderson, Mary Ingalls. Melissa Sue Anderson was only 11 years old when she was cast as Mary Ingalls, the eldest daughter of Charles and Caroline Ingalls. Mary was a strong, kind-hearted, and often a somewhat tragic character, especially with her loss of sight in later seasons. But what you may not know is that Melissa Sue Anderson's rise to fame was anything but ordinary. Born on September 26, 1962, in Berkeley, California, Melissa began acting at a very young age. She made her television debut in 1972, just 2 years before landing the role of Mary.
I didn't come here to see Cindy. I came to see you. Me? What for? To thank you for making that boy stop teasing me.
With appearances in various TV shows like The Brady Bunch Hour and The Swiss Family Robinson. But it was Little House on the Prairie that really catapulted her into stardom. Her portrayal of Mary Ingalls made her a household name, with fans instantly falling in love with her character's quiet strength and inner beauty. The show became a huge hit, and Melissa Sue Anderson's performance earned her a nomination for a Primetime Emmy Award in 1977. She quickly became one of the main faces of the series, and her success wasn't just limited to TV. She appeared in several made-for-TV movies and was a popular teen star in the 70s and 80s. Throughout her career, Melissa received accolades for her work. As we mentioned, she was nominated for an Emmy, but she also won several other awards, including a Golden Globe nomination for her role in Little House. Beyond that, Melissa Sue Anderson's versatility as an actress allowed her to break free from the typecasting of her Little House days, landing roles in other projects, such as the TV series The Love Boat and movies like Happy Birthday to Me in the early 80s. After Little House on the Prairie ended in 1983, Melissa Sue Anderson chose to leave Hollywood and focus on a quieter, more private life. She moved to Canada, where she married and started a family. While she appeared in some projects post-Little House, like The Equalizer and The Love Boat, she gradually withdrew from the public eye and chose a more low-key lifestyle. Her final 2 appearances were uncredited roles in the 2014 Veronica Mars movie and the 2018 comedy The Con Is On. While Melissa Sue Anderson didn't have any major scandals in her career, her relationship with Melissa Gilbert was somewhat complex, and it differs from the close-knit bond their characters shared on screen. In interviews, both actresses have alluded to the fact that their relationship wasn't always smooth. In her memoir, Prairie Tale, a Memoir, Melissa Gilbert revealed that she and Anderson had a strained relationship at times during the production of the show. Gilbert mentioned feeling that Anderson was somewhat distant and not as warm or as open as some of the other cast members. Melissa Gilbert was much more outspoken about the difficulties she faced growing up on the show, including the challenges of being the lead child star. And there were moments when this may have created some tension. Melissa Sue Anderson, on the other hand, has spoken about how she felt she didn't receive as much attention or recognition for her role as Mary compared to Gilbert's role as Laura. She was also more private about her experiences on set, which sometimes contrasted with Gilbert's more open and social approach. Anderson had a more reserved and serious demeanor, while Gilbert was known for being more bubbly and outgoing, which may have contributed to their differing personalities and less than close relationship. Besides that, in interviews, Andersons mentioned how difficult it was to grow up in the public eye and how much pressure she felt as a child star. In fact, she eventually distanced herself from the series due to the way her character was portrayed in later seasons, especially with the dramatic blindness storyline. The beloved actress shares behind-the-scenes stories of her time on the show, her experiences as a child star, and how she has navigated life after Little House wrote a memoir titled The Way I See It, a look back at my life on Little House, which was published in 2010. While she's not as active in acting, she does make appearances at fan conventions and has shared her love for the Little House legacy in interviews. Catherine McGregor, Harriet Olsen. Catherine McGregor portrayed Harriet Olsen, one of the most memorable characters in Little House on the Prairie. Harriet was the ultimate villain of the show. With her sharp tongue, relentless scheming, and, let's face it, her love for drama, Harriet often found herself in conflict with the Ingalls family. But there's no denying how much her character added to the dynamic of the show. Now, let's talk about Catherine herself. Born in 1925 in Oakland, California, Catherine McGregor was no stranger to the world of acting before landing her role as Harriet Olsen. In fact, she had a career in the theater and television before she ever stepped foot on the set of Little House. Before Little House, Catherine had guest roles in a variety of shows including Bonanza, The Twilight Zone, and The Big Valley. She was already well known for her ability to portray strong, sometimes antagonistic characters, which made her the perfect fit for Harriet Olsen. For the 1949 summer season, Catherine was a member of the Gretna Playhouse Company, where she appeared in productions like Philadelphia Story and The Whole Town's Talking. She made a name for herself in theater, and by 1954, she was part of the national tour of the 7-Year Itch, where she started as one of the Dream Girls before advancing to the role of Helen, the wife, in 1956. Changing her name to Scotty McGregor, Catherine's Broadway credits were numerous. She performed in shows like Purple Dust, Toinette, Telemachus Clay, and The Old Glory. She was so respected in her field that in 1963, at the memorial service for famed playwright Clifford Odets, Catherine was invited to read excerpts from his plays alongside none other than Dustin Hoffman. By this point in her career, Catherine was a seasoned actress with a rich theater background, but in the 1960s, she made the decision to move to Hollywood. Unfortunately, her transition to TV and film didn't bring the success she'd hoped for. Despite being highly trained and a veteran of the stage, Catherine's Hollywood career didn't take off the way she had expected. She found work in TV movies like The Death of Me Yet and Tell Me Where It Hurts, and appeared in TV series like Ironside Emergency and Mannix. However, she often found herself stuck playing secretary, teacher, or nurse roles, which she found somewhat discouraging. But everything changed when Catherine met Michael Landon, the star of Little House on the Prairie. Michael saw something special in her and offered her the role of Harriet Olsen. And the rest, as they say, is history. Off-screen, Catherine's personal life was a bit of a roller coaster. She had 2 brief marriages, one to actor Burt Remsen in 1949, which ended in 1950, and another to director Edward K. Martin in 1969, which also ended in divorce in 1970. Catherine admitted that both marriages were difficult, and she chose never to remarry. As she said, "My first 2 marriages were disasters," and she didn't want to go down that road again. After retiring from acting, Catherine focused on her spiritual journey. She embraced her Hindu faith and even went on pilgrimage to India during the filming of Little House, on the Prairie's final episode, The Last Farewell. She also founded the We Hollywood Vedanta Players Children's Theater Company, where she wrote, directed, and designed plays, feeling very creative in that space. By the time of her passing in 2018 at the age of 93, Catherine had lived a full life, leaving behind a lasting legacy. She spent her final years at the Motion Picture and Television Fund's home in Woodland Hills, California, where she was joined by her Little House co-star, Richard Bull, who played her long-suffering husband, Nels. Catherine and Richard's wife, Barbara, shared a close bond after Richard's passing, both of them reflecting on their losses together. And that's the fascinating journey of the Little House on the Prairie cast, from their rise to fame to the ups and downs that followed. Rivalries, feuds, and even scandals, this cast had it all. It wasn't always the tight-knit family we imagined, and those messy dynamics left a lasting mark. Some stars thrived, others struggled, but they all left an undeniable legacy. If you enjoyed this look back, hit that like button, subscribe, and comment below on which cast member's journey shocked you the most. Thanks for watching.